I mean, you have to start him. He's going to get the volume. He does catch the ball out of the backfield. But really, there's not – I don't like Cousins for this week. If you have Stephon Diggs, unless you're loaded at wide receiver, you're going to have to play him. And then as far as the tight ends go, really I'm seeing Irv Smith as more as the tight end of choice than Rudolph in terms of the passing game there. So while Smith is the better option, I still don't necessarily like either one of them for this game. Moving on to the Cowboys, the Vikings defense is top 10 in terms of keeping players from scoring at both quarterback, running back, as well as tight end. They give up their pass defense in terms of giving up points to wide receivers has not been all that great. They've been giving up a lot of yards to wide receivers. So I think that Cooper still gets into the end zone. I think Cooper is a top 10 wide receiver, obviously. Gallup, I think he's more of in that low-end wide receiver 2 range. Prescott, I have him as a low-end quarterback 1, high-end quarterback 2. Zeke, he is a top 10 running back, period. No matter who they're going up against, I'd still, no matter what, you're going to start Zeke. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. I think that the Cowboys win this one again because I don't trust Kirk Cousins to win a game in primetime. I think that the Cowboys win this one, but it's going to be a defensive battle. I'd say 10-7 in this game.
Really?
Yep.
You're willing to go that low? I'm not so sure about that one.
If I were to go any higher, I would say 14. I would say 14-10 Cowboys. How we go that? 14-10 Cowboys over the Vikings.
Well, I'll give the Cowboys a nod, 20-14. And finally, the Monday night game, your Seattle Seahawks against the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
I'll be depending on this game quite a bit for that one. Think about it, I got the 49ers defense. I don't know how well that's going to turn out. I got Kittle and I got Emmanuel Sanders. I wonder where that Emmanuel Sanders thing came up earlier in the broadcast. Now you know why.
Yeah, I think that Sanders will have a solid game. I can see him going for. It all depends on how much pressure the Seahawks can get from their defensive line on Jimmy Garoppolo. The Seahawks have given up the 11th most amount of points to quarterbacks, the 4th most to tight ends. So George Kittle is going to be in for a huge game. I think that Emmanuel Sanders, again, is a solid wide receiver too. He should be right around that wide receiver 15 to 18 range for the week this week. Garoppolo, I think, could have a solid game. Really, I think it's more the running backs are explosive enough for the 49ers. It's hard to tell which running back is going to be the guy this week. And so I still have both Coleman and Breida as mid to low running back 2s, kind of that 18 to 21 range. But I think that this could be a very tough battle for both teams. I think it still is going to be a mid-range scoring game. As far as the Seahawks go, Wilson is a quarterback 1, even with this kind of a matchup against a very difficult defense. Wilson could possibly put up, quarterback 15 numbers. He's done it a couple times this week, or a couple times this year. But his elusiveness and ability to stretch plays, even with the 49ers being the top defense against quarterbacks in terms of fantasy points, I think that Wilson will be able to do enough to keep the Seahawks afloat. Unfortunately, I think the Seahawks lose this one. It will be interesting, though, to see what the Seahawks are able to do now that they will have Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and Josh Gordon, all 3 lining up at wide receiver. That could be interesting because I really think that would be the best wide receiver core that San Francisco has faced all year.
Yeah, how do you think Josh Gordon is going to do with the Seahawks now that you brought that up?
Well, here's my thing. I think that he could still be fantasy relevant, but it's more of a bye-week flex fantasy relevant. I would be ecstatic considering what Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf have done so far this year. Metcalf, Tyler Lockett is on pace for, what is it like? I want to say 100, right around 100 receptions, about 1,400 yards, and about 10 touchdowns. 10 or 11, 10 or 12 touchdowns. DK Metcalf himself is on pace for 50 catches for about 930 yards and 9 touchdowns himself.
Really?
So with Josh Gordon adding into that mix, I would be happy with Josh Gordon over the last 7 games. I'd be happy with him playing in just 6 of them, finishing with 20 catches for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns over the last 7 games. That would be fine for me. So in terms of fantasy, I think that's relative bye week or relative week to week, depending on the matchup. That's what more will determine Josh Gordon's value.
I'll tell you, though, the 49ers defense gets a tough draw. Last week they have Kyler Murray. Now they get Russell Wilson. My goodness. That's really not the easiest thing for them to deal with. I wonder if their defense fares a little bit better, though, against Russell Wilson.
It could be. One, they are at home this week. They're not playing in Arizona.
Right.
But with how well Russell Wilson's been playing, through 9 games, he has 22 touchdown passes and only 1 interception. He has been so efficient and so good at getting rid of the ball when he needs to, not making unnecessary throws. And really, I think that this has been by far his best year. I think that, unfortunately, the 49ers may still win this game just because of how the Seahawks defense has been playing lately. I think it comes down to this could become a shootout, and it's more likely that the Seahawks will give up the points than the 49ers. And I don't want to just be a homer to be a homer. So I'm going to say the 49ers probably win this one. I'm going to say it's a close one, 21-20.
Really? Well, I definitely go with the 49ers, but I'll go 28-24 49ers. So if you have the 49ers defense and you have the ability to add a defense, do you try to add another defense because the matchup is not favorable here?
If you have the 49ers defense, you're probably going to start them anyways. But if there's a defense available, I would say either the Colts or the Ravens. Going up, the Colts at home going up against the Dolphins, or the Ravens going up against a rookie quarterback with the Bengals. Good
observations. Well, all right. Well, fans, hopefully you'll be able to take a little bit of something with the broadcast today with Ryan and I. Ryan will be back on the Sports Exchange tomorrow. And what do we have cooking for tomorrow, Ryan?
Tomorrow we're going to be looking at some of the DFS implications, some guys that I like and don't like for daily fantasy lineups for this weekend is going to be the main thing. And we'll also kind of be going over the injury reports, who's looking like they won't be playing, who may be popping up on the injury reports and that sort of thing. So.
All right, well, that puts a wrap on this edition of Fantasy Football with Ryan Skolrud and Scott Morgan around the Motor City Mad Mouse. So we invite you to join us for the Sports Exchange. Ryan always leads it off tomorrow. So I'll go ahead and do this, Ryan, in less than 24 hours. How's that sound, buddy?
Sounds great. Looking forward to it.
Me too, Ryan. Once again, good job. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night. Thank you, Ryan Skolrud. Appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, have a good night.